What's going on, guys? It's Wes here from psychrocklive, and I'm so glad to be back with another video. Look at me posting again. I can't believe it. Like I said, trying to get back on this recording horse, so to speak. Today, I want to talk about something a little bit different, something I can't quite remember if I've talked about on this channel or not, which is actually CDs. People talk about it in the vinyl community. People show them off. Robert Fifton shows a lot of CDs off, has a pretty large CD collection behind him. And I just wanted to talk about some of my favorites. I collect both vinyl compared to CD. I have many, many, many more records. I just have a small amount of CDs, and I really like to collect the stuff that's hard to find on vinyl, or just some of the stuff that just sounds a lot better on CD. And I'm not saying that that's all pressings, but certain albums I feel just are a little more fit to be on CD. And I'll get into that shortly. But I'm just gonna jump right in. I got a stack here of 6 CDs, and I'm just gonna go through them and show you guys some of my favorites. I'm trying to keep a mellow video here. My roommate's asleep right now. He works the night shift, so he sleeps most of the day. So I'm just hanging out, and I thought I'd record a little video where I have some downtime. First one here. It's a pretty beat up copy of Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. You can figure out what that abbreviates yourself. It's a pretty beat up one. Pretty sure I stole this from my parents quite a few years ago. They have kind of quite a few CDs, and they don't play them very often. So over time I kind of grabbed a few for myself, or they ended up in my car. But this is one of my favorite Van Halen albums. I'm not one of those people that is a David Lee Roth mega fan. I'm a big fan, obviously. But I think Sammy Hagar joining the group was incredible, and I think they had some really good uh, songs, singles, albums, and I like maybe their song structuring a little more once Sammy Hagar joined the group. So for me, this is just one of my favorites. 0812 is good, and 5150. Nothing wrong with those albums, but this one specifically just kind of resonates with me. I grew up listening to Right Here, Right Now live as well. I have that one too, but I thought I'd just show this one. Would love to get this on vinyl. Would love to get a new release of this album. Like I said, it's just an absolutely outstanding album. Um, and for me, it just doesn't get too much better than this. Just every song on this one for me, just great. Like I said, would love to see this get pressed on vinyl. I know there is some originals out there, maybe a Europe press, but it's pretty expensive. And I think there's some bootlegs. There's also some boots of Right Here, Right Now floating around. I've seen them in person, but they're just a little too much money. I think it is a 3 LP, but I don't know. I'll wait it out, and hopefully I'll just hang on to my CD copy until it comes to a point when I can get an official release. Next up, absolutely one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm sure I've probably talked about them on my channel once or twice. And actually, recently just got to see them live in concert at the beginning of December at the Met, one of my favorite venues in Philly. Just an absolutely outstanding, beautiful venue. And of course, I'm talking about Ween. This is White Pepper by Ween, for those not familiar. Um, if you've heard them, you either love them or hate them, kind of. There's not too many middle of the road fans. Really eclectic kind of style of music that they make, and certain songs on this album just incredible, really. Um, I have this CD. I have a couple other of their CDs, and I do have Quebec on vinyl. But they're really hard to come by. So that's, like I said, this is the kind of stuff I want to collect on CD. And this actually wasn't even that cheap of a CD either. I think I got it brand new. But really expensive, really shot up in price. I got my copy of Quebec a long time ago, and I remember the day I bought it at the record store. I pulled Quebec out, and behind it they had this on vinyl, and I thought, oh, I'll come back for it next time. It was a big mistake that I made, which I might have told that story on this channel before, but if I didn't, there you go. But just really incredible album. Seeing them live, they do it right. Just good old fashioned rock and roll band. They're just really, really good. Can't recommend this album enough. Next one up is kind of a benchmark record, And there's definitely some vinyl pressings, especially some audiophile ones of this. And I'm talking, of course, about Eric Clapton Unplugged. This is one of the most common CDs I've ever seen. Any Goodwill will have a copy of this, or Pearl Jam 10. But yeah, I see this one all the time, and it's just such an incredible sounding release. I think I've had a couple different copies, and I ended up with this really, really nice CD copy. And there is the one step out there, I do believe. I think it's already out. Yeah, I'm almost positive. I don't keep up with the one steps that much. But I just recently got a kind of a pro level CD player, nothing too fancy, but I had some used ones that I thrifted and stuff, and they work fine for a while. But they would eventually just break down, and I never really got them fixed because I got them for so cheap. And recently, I found a Pro Series, and it's really, really good sounding, just really nice. So I've been kind of shuffling through my CD collection again, and this just really stands out. It's absolutely outstanding copy. And if you have a good set of speakers and a good stereo, this is definitely something you could play to kind of impress anybody. Next one we have up is Nirvana In Utero. Absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite Nirvana album. I've listened to this copy 100,000 times, and just something about this. This is one of those records I think that's just sounds so good on CD. I have the 45 RPM 2LP 2013 mix on vinyl, and it sounds really good. But my only complaint is that it's a remix. It's not just a remaster. So Beatles fans and stuff out there know what I'm talking about. It's just slightly different. Like the intro on the album "Serve the Servants." The 2013 mix sounds great, but the guitar solos changed around a little bit, so it's just it's not. This is how I know the album, and listening to this so many times and going to a different mix is cool, but it's not the same. So typically, I'll just reach for this and play this. I know there are some releases of this specific one. But the problem is that usually they're on a single LP, and I have experience with this type of music on just a single disc. For example, the Stone Temple Pilots Core reissue that came out, and it just sounds terrible. It's super quiet because they had to squeeze it in on one LP, and I don't know. Anyway, this is definitely one of those albums. I know it is kind of in the midst of the loudness war and whatnot. If you're not familiar with that, search it up. You'll see. A lot of '90s stuff kind of got into that loudness war category, but still, brick walled or not, this is just a great album, and glad to have it in my collection. Next up is another album that I think is kind of one of those albums that spreads out really well on CD. I do not have a copy on vinyl, so I can't necessarily comment. And it's a Warner release, so I imagine that the ones on vinyl are pretty good sounding. But this is one that comes in and out of stock a lot, and that is Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips. I think I'm saying it right. But I like the Flaming Lips. I'm not the world's biggest fan, but this album specifically, I'm sure most people would agree, um, is just an incredible album front to back. Just audiophile sounding, and just one of the best sounding records I've ever heard. And that's just playing from the CD copy. If you have a half decent set of speakers and set up the stereo right and listen to that, and have a little bit of headroom on your amp and some dynamic power, this will literally legitimately blow you out of the room. This is just an absolutely outstanding album, and I can't help but think that this CD, I don't even think this is an original CD. I'm not sure. I don't catalog my CDs on Discogs because I have so few. But I think this is just a definite way to listen to this album. I could be corrected. I don't have a copy yet, and maybe I'll comment if my opinion's wrong. But this is definitely one of those albums that blows you away. And if you haven't heard this, just go listen to it. You got to hear it straight through, like the Dark Side. You got to just play it. All right, my last one here is an interesting pick, a band I would bet that I've probably never talked about on this channel, and that is the Spin Doctors. This is the Pocket Full of Kryptonite CD, and it's actually kind of a guilty pleasure of mine because I wouldn't say it's pop music, but it's kind of pop rock. That's pretty much pop rock. This is really not in the realm of my genre. It's a little cliche for my taste, but I will say that this is an outstanding album. I think, like I said, there's definitely some cliche moments of, lyrics and stuff and melody. But the thing that keeps me coming back to this album is the drums. I'm not familiar with who the drummer is. I could look it up, and I probably should have before the video, but I didn't. But I've been a drummer nearly all my life, over a decade now, and this just everything about this that instantly recognizable snare, um, this and, like, the Red Hot Chili Peppers for me are the kings of the snare. That snare comes in and it just cuts through the mix, and it gives it that kind of addicting feel and that swing, and that so forefront beat that just makes this album incredible. And I think if it didn't have that, this would be kind of a lousy album. But that's just my opinion. Overall, though, I really love this. Music on Vinyl has a release of this, and that is definitely in my list to grab. I think I said in the last video, I love Music on Vinyl. They do just great, great stuff. So I look forward to getting that. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to give you a little scan through some of my favorite CDs. Go ahead and comment what some of your favorite CDs are, and if you have any albums on CD that you think that is the best way to listen to it. If you just think that they are made to be played on CD and just sound the best that way, let me know, and maybe I'll pick it up. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Go ahead and subscribe if you aren't already, if you wouldn't mind. It supports me, and I appreciate it. And anyway, guys, that's all I have today. Have a great day and a good rest of your week. I'll talk to you guys later.